Hakuna Matata. A lot of people see it as a quote from The Lion King. So did I for the longest time. The difference was I took it to heart. I lived by saying no worries, except that got me into places where I didn't want to be. When I was 16 years old, I lived in Virginia Beach. I went to Salem High School and was pretty active in my youth group, The Crash. I was also very active in skateboarding and baseball. I loved life and I didn't have any worries. I had lots of friends who went to church with me, all that my good friend of mine Paul had invited. This guy could get anyone to come to church without throwing the whole God trip. He was my idol, and he was so cool. So when I moved away at the end of my sophomore year, I wanted to be just like him. And when I got to Missouri, immediately became active in the youth group, striving to be like Paul. I learned ways to make church fun, but still worthwhile. And for the first 2 months, people were starting to come on the regular. And over the course of that year, people started getting saved, coming to church, and just loving Jesus every day. It made me feel accomplished. Not too long into the summer before senior year, a kid moved to town from California. He had the exact opposite idea as me. He wanted to show what partying Cali style was like. And he did. Everyone left me for him. No worries, I said. If I couldn't beat him, I would join him. I lost all sight of God, religion, my youth group, and anything related with church. I started partying 4 to 5 times a week, lying to my mom where I was going at night, smoking cigarettes and drinking to be cool. But soon enough, cigarettes didn't cut it. So being the natural born leader that I am, and living by no worries, I started smoking pot. I even started skipping school to smoke. But the worst part was I started experimenting with other drugs as well. Shrooms, ecstasy, speed, cocaine. Cocaine was good. I could take a line, walk around town, and no one would know that I was high. But I did, so did my friends. I liked it so much. I couldn't find ways to put gas into my truck to go to work or school, but I was finding ways to spend $80 every other day on my half of the 8-ball. My name started getting hot in town, but that didn't bother me. I started slacking off in school, and that didn't bother me. What bothered me is I would go home whenever I felt like it, and I would watch my mom cry because she knew what I was doing. It was killing her, but she never once reprimanded me for it. She asked me what I was going to be doing that night, and I would lie and say, oh, just chilling at Cody's house, or playing some baseball over at Dakota's. And although I didn't know it then, my mom loved me. And you know, it hurt to watch her so upset because of what I was doing. I was setting examples for my little brother and sister. They saw what I was doing to myself and to her. I was so addicted to blow that I would hit my sister when she just tried playing with me. I didn't eat at all. I didn't need to. And before baseball season that year, I weighed 106 pounds. But luckily for me, I saw what I was doing to myself and to my mom and acted upon it. I enrolled myself into 6 weeks of self-help program, and the mentor there asked me the hardest questions ever. Why are you doing this? And if you like it so much, then why do you want to quit? He would tell me not to go back to them by reverse psychology, so I stayed clean, and during the whole stint of time, I've been keeping in touch with a really good friend of mine from Virginia Beach, James Warren. That guy would get on AIM and just talk to me, ask how I was doing, how my mom was doing. I'd tell him. And the whole time I'd cry, just typing, because the truth hurt. He cared. From 2,000 miles away, he cared. It helped during the healing process. And after every conversation, he would say, I love you, man. And that's the best feeling in the world, knowing that someone so far away loves you. And that was December of 2007. This summer, I moved back to Virginia Beach, not really knowing why other than my selfishness and how I missed everyone back here. The catch was I came out looking to party, not go to church, make new friends who didn't believe in God, and I just wanted to live life. I was still clean, but I was afraid of church. Although the first weekend I got here, I came to see my buddies who I'd missed so long, 3D, James, Dusty, but they weren't at the church that night. Annie was, though, a person I never met, a new face. But she came to me without hesitation and said, hey, can I help you? I said I was looking for these guys, and she told me that they weren't there. But she said I could stick around for a little, see how things work nowadays. She didn't know it, but God was working through her when she approached me. The fact that I walked into a place and immediately saw open arms made me feel loved, again. I still didn't believe, though. I didn't want to. I had this wall in my heart because God let me run away from him once. And when I did, look where I went. He couldn't ever love me again. But I lived with that guy I wanted to be like when I moved away. He was still so cool. And the best part was he worshiped so hard. He was learning to play guitar, and he sucked. He sucked at singing too, but he didn't care because he was worshiping. And he loved me. He prayed for me. He read Bible verses to me. And one night while we were reading, he read to me Matthew 6:2-6. Do not worry. Hakuna Matata. God was there. I cried as soon as I heard those words. I renewed my vows to Christ that day, and ever since God has been so good to me. Sure, I still struggle, but who doesn't? I was afraid of being labeled by a religion, being so much like all those hypocrites that I used to know. But the people who love me showed me you don't need but one name, and that's Christian. So from far away, God loves you, but here on this earth, there are all of us, waiting to show the love God has put in us. Say Hakuna Matata to your problems, to your addictions. Shine your light, because you know that alone could help someone overcome such a great problem in their life. But finally, love him back. He died for you with thousands of people watching. So love him and don't be embarrassed who is watching. Pray to him in silence, and when you worship, put your heart into it. I'm Trevor Ryan Farias, and God helped me through drug addiction by putting people in this world to love me.